Hi, my name is Lainey Allen. I am the Family and Consumer Sciences Program Coordinator here at Johnson County K-State Research and Extension. Today I'm going to be making some zoodles. Zoodles are made from zucchini squash. You're going to be making noodles from that squash. You can make different kinds of noodles depending on the different tools you use. I'm going to be using a few here. Our first is a spiralizer. It's the largest and probably easiest to use to make the zoodles, but it does take up more space when you're storing it. Our second is a slicer or mandolin. It's the easiest to use, I think, and it also stores really conveniently. The last I'm going to show is the traditional knife and cutting board method. It's going to be the most intensive on you. You have to slice all of them up by hand, but it's the cheapest and easiest to store. The first thing you always want to do is start by washing your hands, which I've done in the sink behind me. And you also want to wash your produce so that there's no dirt or germs on them. To start, for any of the methods, you're going to cut off the ends of your zucchini squash. Be careful when you're cutting. All right, after you've cut the ends of your zucchini off, we're going to cut it in half so it's a little easier with the spiralizer. And your zoodles will be a little long, so you can tear them up to be shorter if you'd like something a little easier to manage when you're eating. Another option is using a mandolin. To slice your zucchini, you're going to put the guard on top of the zucchini, push it down the mandolin, pick it up and back so that you're not dragging it back across. And here you have some small and straight zoodles. The reason you want to slide down and pick it back up is because of safety. It might seem like it's going to be more work, but because of all the sharp blades on mandolins, this is going to be safer for you. Our last method we're going to do is hand cutting with a knife and cutting board. It's going to be the simplest way, even if it does take a little longer. I'm sure everybody at home has a knife and some sort of cutting board that they can use. We're going to start by chopping off our ends. And I will put these in trash. And then you're going to make long cuts down your zucchini. And you can also cut them in half so you can make them a little smaller if you want, and cut them as small as you'd like so you can have thick or thin noodles. There are many different ways that you can prepare your zoodles. I'm going to be sauteing here just lightly. You can also put them in the microwave to lightly warm them up. You can bake them in the oven, or you can eat them raw as well. So for this, I'm just going to lightly saute them in olive oil and a few spices, and they'll go good with just about whatever you like. So we're going to lightly heat up some olive oil. And then we will put our zoodles in. And they don't need to cook for very long. Sometimes they'll get a little smushy because they're pretty water-based, but just enough to heat them up, and you can put in a little bit of garlic powder, pepper, Italian seasoning, whatever you'd like to give them a good taste. Some of my zoodles still look a little long, so I'm using the spoon. I'm just pressing down on them, and that cuts them up a little more. And it's starting to smell really good, so I know that all of those seasonings are cooking in with the zoodles. All right, and after they have cooked for the time you'd like, put them in your bowl, turn your heat off, and we have our zoodles.